Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of the Deep-3 here on Saturday, January 25th. Scott Steen is not available once again today due to his dentist appointment, so he will actually be back tomorrow. But the show must go on, and we'll look to provide all of you with some winners here on Saturday in the NBA and in college basketball. Couple of decent games on the card, one primetime game in particular for the NBA, and that's actually we're going to be starting out with our first play in the Deep-3. We're going to be looking at the Lakers and the 76ers, and we actually like the Lakers here on the road -4, which is available at -110 on FanDuel. Lakers, overall, they've been really good on the road. I know people talk about how Philly's really good at home, and they are 20-2 at home overall. Doesn't change the fact that the Lakers are actually 20-4 overall on the road. So that's kind of a wash, but as a whole, Philadelphia, I think, is going to be missing Embiid a lot in this game. People were talking about how Ben Simmons was going on a great run, and how the 76ers looked really good in Embiid's absence immediately. People just seem to conveniently leave out the schedule that the 76ers actually played when Embiid originally got injured. If you look at what happened, they ended up beating the Celtics. It was an impressive win. Then after that, they ended up beating the Nets. They beat the Bulls. They beat the Knicks. And they beat the Nets. None of those teams are any good, and then the one time they actually played a real team in Toronto, they lost by double digits. I think that this team is going to struggle against the Lakers. Now, Anthony Davis is questionable for this game. It seems like he is trending towards playing, especially since they're not going to play for the next 3 days after this game, so I think it makes sense for the Lakers to play Anthony Davis. But either or, I just think that the Lakers have too much size on the interior now. In terms of the stats, the 76ers are actually the better rebounding team, but that's mostly due to the fact that Embiid was playing in the large portion of these games. If you look at Philly's projected lineup and the lineup they used in their last game, they actually went extremely small, and their lineup actually featured Al Horford at the center. They had Al Horford at the center, Tobias Harris at the power forward. Then they had Thibault, Richardson, and Simmons. Richardson's out for this game, so they're going to actually be even smaller on the outside with using Korkmaz as a three-point shooter. Which means that in terms of the big men, you have either Al Horford or Tobias Harris guarding JaVale McGee and Anthony Davis. And then you have LeBron with Ben Simmons. I just think it's a terrible matchup. I'm not really sure how the 76ers are supposed to dominate on the boards like they have in the regular season without Embiid in the lineup. Now, there is the potential that they could use, they could shuffle it a little bit and try to use Pell a bit more, but he's not really an offensive threat whatsoever, and he's on a 10-day contract. I just think it's a bad matchup for the 76ers. You also have Howard off the bench for the Lakers, who has the ability to go for a double-double, and I just don't think that the 76ers have enough size with Embiid out of the lineup. Now, can Simmons play well? Yeah, he could, but you're also going to have to either have him guard LeBron or Anthony Davis, and I think that he's probably at a disadvantage on both of those. If you look at the rest, Thibault's a good defender, but he's not the greatest shooter, and he doesn't really provide much of a spark besides 3 and D. And I'm a bit concerned with the actual just depth that the 76ers have in comparison to the Lakers with Embiid out of the lineup. So for that reason, I know that the 76ers are really good at home, but I got to assume here that the Lakers should take care of business on a primetime game. The Lakers are coming into this game off of a very nice win against the Brooklyn Nets on primetime where they won by 15 points. 76ers are coming in off a loss against Toronto. Seems like this is a type of game where Brett Brown would just do a terrible job coaching and the 76ers will get exposed. I kind of think that's what's going to happen in this game. Lean to the Lakers here -4, which is available on FanDuel at -110. Now, just to be clear here, if Embiid was playing, I would take the Sixers, but he's not, and I simply just think that this team is significantly worse off with him out of the lineup. So for that reason, I like the Lakers. Lakers -4 at -110 on FanDuel is the first play. Now, the next two plays will be on college basketball in some non-marquee matchups, but either or, I still think there's some value on it, and for that reason, I'm giving them out. First play will be on Utah -7, which is going to be available at -105 on FanDuel as they take on Washington State. Main reasons why Washington State has been abysmal on the road: they are 1-5 straight up and 0-4-1 against the spread on the road this season. And in recent matchups, the favorite is 6-2 against the spread in the last 8 meetings. The home team is also 13-4 ATS in the last 17 meetings between these teams. Utah's averaging roughly 4 more points per game. They're averaging 1 more rebound per game, a couple more assists per game. Washington State has just come into this game in really bad form if you've looked at the recent schedules. They got embarrassed by Colorado in their last game on the road by double digits. Utah ended up struggling a little bit over the last couple of weeks, mostly due to a really brutal road trip that they had to go through and they ended up struggling in that one, but they ended up coming back home and they were able to beat a decent Washington team at home in their last game. I think you should see Washington State continue to struggle on the road, and I think Utah should be able to dominate in this game. I think it's interesting that an 11-7 team with a 2-4 record in conference is laying 7 against a Washington State team that's 12-8. The spread actually opened up at 5.5. It's climbed up to 7. I think that is warranted. I think that Utah's a very underrated team. They were able to beat Kentucky earlier this year. They beat a team by 90-something points earlier this year. This team's pretty good. I think this team's a bit underrated. And Washington State, if you've looked at their last couple of road games, they lost to Colorado in their last game by 22. They lost to Stanford in the game before that on the road by 26. And they even lost to Cal by 7 on the road. And Cal's absolutely terrible. If you've looked at Cal's numbers this season, California is currently 8-10. They're 7th in the Big Ten, really just not a good team. And Washington State struggled against them. I think Utah should have won this game by double digits. I think Utah just has enough offensive firepower to keep Washington State off guard. And I also think that Utah should be able to receive a spark from its home crowd en route to another home victory. I think Utah won this game by double digits, lean to the Utes here -7, and that line is available at -105 on FanDuel. And the third play of the day is going to be on Cal State Bakersfield -1.5, which is available at -110 on FanDuel. This line's a bit peculiar to me if you actually just look at the actual stats here. Bakersfield is 7-4 at home this season, and Seattle is 1-8 on the road. Yet Bakersfield is only -1.5. Plus, Bakersfield over the last couple of seasons has pretty much dominated the conference. They've been the class of the conference for many years, and I think you should see I think you should see them play well once again in this game. Now, I know New Mexico State has actually won the conference in the last 2 seasons, but Bakersfield has made the conference title game for a long time. I mean, they're 4-1 this year in conference play. Seattle's 3-3, and Bakersfield's currently on a 3-game winning streak. They enter this game in pretty solid form, whereas Seattle enters this game in really poor form, having lost each of the last 2 games. Plus, Bakersfield is actually averaging roughly 3 more rebounds per game. So I think that you should see Bakersfield dominate on the glass. I think Bakersfield should be able to generate enough second chance points in order to cover this number. 1.5 just seems low to me. I think this number should be around 2 I think this number should be around 3, give or take. Plus, if you've looked at Seattle in their last couple of road games, the Red Hawks are 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games as an underdog. And the Red Hawks are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games as a road underdog. This team doesn't play well in hostile environments when they're projected to lose. And when they play superior competition in hostile environments, they tend to struggle really badly. So I think that this number is a bit low. I think there's value on Bakersfield here. Lean to Bakersfield -1.5 at -110 on FanDuel. So the 3 plays, once again, will be on the Lakers -4 at -110 on FanDuel. The Utah Utes -7, which is available at -105 on FanDuel. And lastly, the Cal State Bakersfield -1.5, which is available on FanDuel at -110. Now, other than that, though, that's going to be the installment of the Deep 3 here on Saturday, January 25th. And good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.